Welcome to the Walk and Talk podcast hosted by Dave and Tom, your home for real stories from real people, encouraging our listeners to speak up about everyday struggles and bringing some positivity to your day. This podcast is powered by Engaged Socials. Keep up to date on social media for new episodes. Follow us on Instagram at Walk and Talk Pod and find us on Facebook at Walk and Talk Podcast.
Good morning, I'm Dave.
Good morning, I'm Tom.
We're with a special guest today at Victoria Park.
And I'm Joe.
Hey.
Joe, Warrington, born and bred. It's a special year for you this year, testimonial year. So, testimonial in rugby, Joe plays for Warrington Wolves. He's been at the club for 10 years. So after that, you get granted your 10-year permission to play. How do you feel?
I feel very, very grateful, very blessed. Obviously, you say it's 10 years in the first team, but I got to Warrington at under 15s, so I've been there, going on probably 14 years now. And when I was that 15, 16-year-old kid, if you told me I'd played one game, I'd have probably died happy, to be honest with you. So to be here 10 years later and still kind of living out my dream, I feel really grateful. And I think to do 10 years at any club is special and worth celebrating, but 10 years at your hometown club is, kind of like I say, I'm living out a dream, so I feel very blessed.
No, definitely, and being Warrington fans ourselves and friends, I think over the years where we've watched you come through and break that first team and also then play for Great Britain as well, you must feel incredibly proud of yourself of what you've achieved. And me and Tom talk about self-praise. What are you like with self-praise? Do you ever do that for yourself, or do you always doubt yourself?
I'm me as a person, I'm kind of probably don't celebrate things enough because I'm always thinking, what's next? And that's like a blessing and a curse, I suppose, because I think, I think it's a good thing that you're always wanting more, but also, I look back now at some things that probably have been achievements and just expected it to keep happening. So, I'd say I'm probably more self-critical than self-praising, to be honest with you. But that's kind of just me as a person, I suppose.
So, just talking about these beautiful T-shirts that you're wearing, we're modelling. Yeah. There's a bit of a theme to it, isn't there? Because we're at Victoria Park today, which is Latchford. Two teams that you played for as youngsters, wasn't there? So Latchford Albion, or Latchford Giants, it's called now. Was it Latchford Giants when you were?
Latchford Albion Unicorns.
Unicorns, that's right, yeah.
LAU I was, Latchford Albion Unicorns.
Were you in that pink strip? There's a nice little pink strip that you sat.
No, it was very similar to this, but it was hoops. It was it was maroon and gold hoops.
Yeah, and the other team's Culture of Eagles. So how old was you when you were at Latchford?
So I only started playing rugby when I was 15. Bit of a different story to most people.
Isn't it? Because there's a lot of people that think if they didn't start rugby, unless they were like 5 years old when they started or something, I think they might have no chance of starting rugby and being professional. So I don't think there's that many people that can say that. Do you know how many of us that only started rugby at 15 and have gone on to do similar things to yourself? No,
I don't, to be honest with you. And I know, like, whenever I go into schools and stuff like that, whenever I talk to people, that's kind of my main message is don't give up on, if you're 13 and you've not got stuff figured out, 14, 15, whatever age you are, you've not got stuff figured out. Everyone runs their own race. And
that's right. 100%.
Like I say, I touched a rugby ball when I was 15 for the first time. I'd always played football and played a year at Culture of Eagles. And, after 3 or 4 games for Culture of Eagles, got picked up. I got picked up for Warrington, which I felt really lucky to do.
It was a great message there, like you've just really touched on it. Go for it, into it, no matter what. No matter what your age is, whatever. If you don't want to go and do something, get out and get it done, into it, really.
100%. And I think the main message as well that I always say is like I just enjoyed it, like because I was late to the game. I feel like I was learning so much so quickly. I was like a sponge because I remember my first training session at Warrington, and I had real bad imposter syndrome. I felt like I didn't really belong in that changing room because I'd only done 3 games of rugby in my life, and then they were putting moves on at training. Well, I didn't know what a move was, so I was like, "Why'd you do that?" I was just asking so many questions.
Would you just catch the ball and run?
Yeah, that's all I do. Yeah. That's all I do. But I was asking so many questions. Like I say, I was just like a sponge, so I kind of see it as a little superpower, I suppose, that I was late to the game.
Definitely a good message for other people out there. 100%.
Yeah, it's walking on this field now is bringing back so much nostalgia. So yeah, sorry, going back to your question. So I played a year for Culture for under 15s, and then I joined Latchford for the under 16 season. Had a great time. Great.
Good team, was it? Was it a good team?
Yeah, we had Declan Patton, Bane in my ass still. Andre Sibelio was in that team. We had loads more lads who were on scholarships and stuff like that as well at the time.
Any special memories in particular? Anything jump out at you? Put you on the spot a bit here, but like were you in your
In the middle of
in Latchford or
where it started.
yes, is it? Isn't it?
Centre line.
Anything stand out? Any cup wins or anything? Did you go on to win much with Latchford or culture? I know you weren't there that long, but
the Latchford season was, so we actually got to the biggest like competition for any amateur team is the National Cup, because we only play in the North West counties, and then people from over in Yorkshire play their side, but the National Cup you come together, and we got to the National Cup final. Now I played a scholarship game for Warrington the week before it, and I broke my collarbone, so I was absolutely heartbroken. So we played Ince Rose Bridge in the final. Now Wilco said to me, he said, "Mate, you'll always remember this National Cup final, so what I want you to do," I had my sling on. He said, "I want you to kit up, walk out as if you're playing." So I look back at pictures now. I had my full kit on. I had a sling around my arm and I'm walking out, and the Ince lads are taking the piss out of me royally. Going, what's this lad doing? But we come up with a scrum move the week before, and the scrum move was for me. It was called a J ball. I remember it on this field right here where we were practicing it. Well, I can't quite remember it. Basically, they got some dummy runner would run outwards, and they just popped the ball for me, and I'd sprint through the middle. So if it worked, I'd go in untouched. So we were saying if it's very, very, very close, we're right near the end of the game, they're going to bring me on for a J ball. But I think I just signed my first ever professional contract at Warrington. The Warrington people were there, so I said I couldn't do it. But that was a good memory. Then we played against Ince Rose Bridge in that final. Now Det broke his collarbone in the first minute of that game as well, so we both had broken collarbones. We went close, but that Ince team, that was George Williams, Joe Burgess, Ryan Sutton, Ben Austin, who's gone on to have a career. Like they were a stat team, but it was a good game. That's probably my main memory.
Great memory. No, definitely. And then, going years ahead now. Obviously, you're here 10 years at Warrington. Obviously in the first team, as you said before. But what's the one thing you've learned? Whether it's on the field or off the field. What's the one thing? You've been around some top professionals. Greg Inglis, Chris Sandow when he was there, Kurt Gidley. There's Libres. What's the one thing you've learned that you take away as a life experience that you want to share with family, friends? Chris Sandow's great.
Yeah, hard work. You the harder you work, luckier you get, I suppose. I went through. It's been a journey. My 10 years. It's been a rocky ups and downs, and I think the start of my journey was very rocky because I probably weren't putting it. I didn't realise what it was to be a pro. I thought, I had a little bit of raw ability because I thought. I started playing when I was 15 and I kind of just went like that and things were going so well. I thought, it's just going to carry on going that way with not much input from me. But, the higher up you get, the sooner you realise that if you're not putting the work in, you're going to get found out. And I kind of did. And I remember the 2016 season being a massive year of lessons for me. And I think I just realised what it was to be a pro, dieting, what I eat, how I sleep, what I'd get up to on a weekend, alcohol is a massive thing at that young age, and doing it at the right time, stuff like that. So I think kind of what it was to be a professional, but how do you work, lucky you get. I think that's the main message.
That's kind of what we're hearing more and more with the people that we speak to. We've got one of your sponsors, Andy, who Wire Cranes. He said that himself the other day when he came on our walk. He said the harder you work, the more luck you get, which I think that makes sense. Life is about luck, isn't it? And every loads of doors open, some doors close, but you'll continue to open those doors, and one day you'll get that opportunity. So yeah, thanks for joining us today.